You're going to hear from Sandy Litvak, who is doing something hard. He's running for first selectman in the town of Greenwich.
Nobody's better positioned than Sandy. How blessed you are to have somebody like this with this kind of experience in the public sector and the private sector. He knows how to work bureaucracies for righteous and good causes, as he did at the Department of Justice, but he also knows how to blend together private sector priorities with public sector priorities.
He wasn't just working at Disney, he was their general counsel. He ran it with thousands of employees, and now he's here in Greenwich. And he wants to make Greenwich run better.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Dick. I appreciate it. I have an awesome responsibility. But what I do want to do is I do want to talk to you about this election come November 7th. It's important. I want to tell you why I'm running. I decided that I had something to offer and that it should be offered. Dick alluded to my time at Disney, my time in government. I have done both. That is true. Talking about Disney, I have to tell you just two things. One is, when people talk about difficulties and people talk about dealing with Hartford, I dealt with the French. I negotiated the restructuring of Euro Disney. That's tough. I also got to spearhead the acquisition of ABC and ESPN. And there's one little thing I want to tell you because something Jim said just triggered it in my mind. Warren Buffett was on the board of ABC when we bought ABC. Warren, as you know, is a Democrat. You may not know his father was a Republican. And Warren is an unusual man in that he is a very, very wealthy Democrat. And he was asked at a forum, Warren, you're so wealthy and you know, how come you're a Democrat? Why aren't you a Republican? And he said, I like to think of the world just a second before you're born, just 1 second, and you don't know whether you're going to be white or black, tall or short, thin or fat, American or Sudanese, man or woman, gay or straight. What kind of a world would you want it to be? You'd want it to be a world where you and everyone like you would be welcome. That's why I'm talking. So what I really want to talk about is the election, and not about who you vote for, but how you get involved in the political process and how you must get involved in the political process. This is critical. It really is. There are a variety of ways to get involved. I obviously opted to get involved by running for office. There are other people here who are also running for office. And I'm really excited about that because I think people are running for office that have never run before. Could everyone who is running for office stand up for just a second, please? Any office, RTM, any. Just take a look. Raise your hands if this is the first time, like me, that you're running for office. Look at that. There is a mood out there, and these people reflect it. We have the wind at our back. Donald Trump is not on the ballot, but what Donald Trump is on the ballot. And who he is on the ballot. And how you feel about it is on the ballot. And where the candidates stand on that issue is not unimportant. I stand very clearly. Donald Trump has denigrated the office of the White House. He is a disgrace, and he's unfit to hold the office. But make no mistake about it. So here's the key. We have all got to get involved. I did it by running. That is not everyone's cup of tea, quite obviously. There are people who have thought of running for office. I would have been one of them, by the way. It's something you couldn't imagine. But you have to get involved. And there are ways to do it. I want to talk about two in particular. One, if you can't or you don't want to run, volunteer. You can phone bank, you can canvass, you can contribute, you can do all three. Or you can sit on the sidelines and do nothing. But if you do that, if you sit on the sidelines and do nothing, then don't gripe. Don't come to these things and complain. We have to stand up. And by the way, I'm as guilty as anybody. I have voted in every presidential election, every state election, every election that takes place in an even-numbered year. You know what that means? That means I didn't vote in the municipal elections when I should have. But 2016 taught me that. And I hope it taught all of you that. And it all starts here. It starts in Greenwich, and it starts now. We have an active, growing, right-wing Tea Party group that is trying to take over, among other things, the Board of Education, among other things, the RTM, the budget, and things that are critical to our way of life. One of the senators said, I guess it was Chris Murphy, said in passing, the focus on the mill rate. That's a myopia. We all like to have a low mill rate. But we all love Greenwich. And we've got to figure out a way to do it. And the way to do it is very simple. It's the efficient management of the town. That's what we can bring. We have candidates that are so fabulous that if we can turn this town blue, and we can, we will be able to deal with not just the mill rate, but the entire quality of life. So I challenge you, and I say to you, and this is the point I want to make, it's not enough for you to get out and vote. That you must do. But you must get your friends to vote. You must get your neighbors to vote. You must get your college children who are away at college to get absentee ballots and vote. The only way we lose is if we don't show up. And that has been the problem. In this town of 36,200 registered voters, 7,000 votes wins the first selectman. You can't get 7,000 people who think that I would be a good first selectman. I don't believe it. Make sure we get out there. You know, down at Town Hall, there's a quote from Franklin Delano Roosevelt. No one can take away an American's right to vote except Americans when they don't vote. And I'm not quoting it literally. Let that not be what happens in Greenwich. We saw what happened in the United States. We laid the groundwork for 2017 here in Greenwich. We build on it in 2018 when Jim Himes runs, and we take it all the way home in 2020 when we have our Democratic president.